Here we go. Let's get the imaging going here because I am a high value production.
Live from the No One Wants to Sponsor This Show studio, it's the Brian Mood Show.
What's going on, y'all? Thank you for joining the pre-show podcast. I know I'm going to get better at this. Just been a crazy week. This week involves identity theft, stuff at my kid's school, chaos, bluey, radio shenanigans. Just me today, so thank you for hanging in there. If you have any comments, go ahead. I'll bring up the screen right here. You can go ahead and fire off your comments and make sure that those are in the chat, which I got to do right now. That was my fault. Now there, comments. Boom. If you comment, I'll see it. We're also going to talk about it. I've gotten a lot of questions about the Kristen show from the Bird Show. I used to work with her about her afternoon show. Because people have been like, Brian, radio beef, radio wars in the afternoon. No. What are we going to do? We'll get into that too, because I got a lot of opinions. I had this conversation the other night with somebody, and they were like, that's really interesting about radio. I've learned a lot by being fired 4 times. None for good reasons. We should talk about that too. I've been fired like funny times. Once I got fired. I basically knew the job was over in Dallas, Texas. And I got called into the boss's office in maybe the worst costume to ever exist. For that. I lost a bet and I was dressed as Buddy the Elf. Buddy the Elf from the movie Elf. And that's how I had to have a serious conversation with somebody. Which also I feel bad for like radio executives in that regard. Kinda. Because you got to fire somebody. They're stressed out. Nobody wants to fire anybody. That sucks. But then you have a guy come into your office dressed as Buddy the Elf. And you're like, oh man, what am I supposed to do? Fire him and lose Christmas spirit? Brutal. So I got fired once in Buddy the Elf's costume. In Los Angeles, I got let go. It's all downsizing. It's never a fun story. I wish I had a good fun story. Like, Brian, why'd you get fired from radio? It's like, oh, I went crazy. I did this wild bit. And they were like, no way, Brian, you're out of here. Never for me. It's always like, hey, we love you. It's been awesome, but budgeting. And I was in Los Angeles. And the day before I got let go in Los Angeles, we did this game. We had to spin this wheel of punishments, and I always lost the wheel. We kind of rigged it. I don't want to pull the wizard out from behind the curtain, but I always lost because it was no fun if Edgar or Chelsea lost, unless there was like some buildup. It was more funny if I lost. And so the punishment was eat this pepper that Edgar Sotelo, who's awesome dude, has his own show, Shaboy show in Los Angeles. Really, really cool. Awesome guy. His neighbor was growing these jalapenos like in her garden. And these jalapenos had like a black tip. And these were like off the grid jalapenos. I know we talk about like the California Reaper and like the habanero and all that stuff, North Carolina, whatever, all those wild names. Nah, nothing's hotter than Abuela in East Los Angeles has a garden. That's the hottest pepper you're ever going to find in your life. And it was this big. It's like teeny tiny. And I ate this pepper, and a couple funny things. One, my head almost exploded. Like the picture I have on Instagram, and I'm going to put that up for the podcast episode. The picture I had on Instagram was just like my face just boiling, eyes watering, my nose was running, and I was trying to get through a radio segment, reading and spelling and doing all sorts of stuff, and couldn't do it. And it was brutal. So the next day, I was walking out of the studio with our wheel of punishment. This is where the story gets funny for getting fired. So I have the wheel of punishment, right? Someone's corny radio wheels that I got on Amazon. And I walk into the office and they're like, hey, Brad, come in here. I'm like, oh, sounds good, guys. And I sit down. They're like, hey, man, we're going to make some staffing changes on the morning show. And I go, ooh. Man, what's happening? Who? Ooh, I don't like that. Who? And like you and Brad. And I was like, Wait, what? That was a weird way to say that. You said we were making staffing changes, and I was like, I'm so sorry for Chelsea, Edgar, and whoever else is getting fired. And I'm like, me? So I was like, gave him a hug. I dap. Here's a hug, buddy. You. I wish I would have calmly stood up, walked to the door, had the punishment wheel, and just spun the punishment wheel, and been like, whatever that lands on, you got to do it. Because some of them are like absurd, like, it's like do 50 push-ups or some dumb thing, right? But the hot pepper, oh man, would have been great. I just locked the door of the office. Click. Sounds good, guys. Want to play a game? Wheel of punishment. Got fired that way. Trying to think of other ways. I'm usually oblivious to it. Like, I usually never see it coming. I'm that guy. Which I wish I was better at seeing it coming. If you're somebody who gets fired and you see it coming, bless your heart. I never do. I'm always blindsided. 100% blindsided. If you want to call in right now, by the way, let me make sure I can see the phones. 404-263-0941. I can pull those up right now. I got the technology. I got the buttons punched in. 404-263-0941. I should put that in the screen down here. Love to hear from you. Just having fun. Workshopping some stuff from the week. I also did this. This is kind of funny. And I work for the same company now that I got fired with in LA, and I have no ill will. This is the thing. I really don't have any enemies in radio. People have done stuff that's real shady after I've left, but I've always left or been fired in like a really respectful way. There's some people who have done me dirty. We'll get into that shortly. No, I'm kidding. I did do this. They were like, hey, we're going to leave your badge active if you want to come in and do podcasts and stuff. And I was like, that's awesome. Thank you. I love that. I love to do podcasts here at the station in LA. It was on Wilshire Boulevard. We just got a new apartment, which hurt. My wife was like, you know what, Bri? She was my girlfriend at the time. She's like, you know what? Let's get a good apartment. We've always lived in like crummy apartments. When I moved to LA from Atlanta, we had a house here in Atlanta. And so I was like, well, I don't want to spend a lot of money on rent. So I just shared an apartment with a guy I knew in comedy. And it was kind of a dumpster fire of a place in like not a great area. There was always stuff happening. There's always police activity happening around my apartment in West Hollywood. So we got this brand new, beautiful place. Just signed like a 13-month lease, and I got let go like 4 months later. That was kind of hurtful. But I remember those bird scooters, we rode those into the radio station at like midnight, and just me and Brad, my producer who got fired. And we didn't do anything crazy. We didn't break anything. We just did laps like around the entire radio station. We like rode into the night person's studio at K-Rock, legendary K-Rock, just rode right in and like did like a little slide stop. Probably why we got our access revoked. Probably why. All right. So what should we get to first, guys? Bluey. My ID got stolen. So apparently somebody in California is using my identity to kill it in the oil industry, which hurts. United Oil. So I got a tax bill about, I want to say, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days ago. And the tax bill was for a business that I don't own. It's not me. I didn't live in California in 2022. And I've been on the phone with the IRS like nonstop. California is a brutal state to talk to because it takes forever. And apparently somebody opened an LLC under my name in 2022 for United Oil and is crushing it, you guys, which is frustrating. It's so frustrating when your scammer kind of does better with your identification, like your persona, you than you do. Like, there's no way I could get a job for United Oil, but this person is like an oil baron. So I've been watching Landman, and now I want to be a landman, kind of, right? Billy Bob Thornton makes it seem fun. They have a ton of money. mean, they're blowing through money in that show, right? Like, just pull out like wads of hundreds. It's like they don't even know what things cost. Like, Billy Bob Thornton walks into a store and he's like, well, I'll just take a Coke and a Coke and a pretzel. And they're like, okay, that'll be $4. He's like, just hits her with like $800. And she's like, what do I do with this? He's like, I don't know. See, I'm a landman. I work in the oil biz. So apparently there's a Brian Moot crushing it. What's up, Tanya Henderson? Thank you guys. Chime in on the chat if you can. If I see him, I'll ask questions if you'd like to. So I got to work on that. I'm getting all the documentation sent to me so that I can track down this fake Brian Moot. And I want to ask him questions like life advice. Like, how did you take my identity? Because he's using a California address. You know how broke I was? Like, it was a 2015 California address. He's using the one that I lived in an apartment with 4 dudes in a 2-bedroom. Yeah, you're doing the math on that. That's 2 dudes per bedroom. It's too many dudes per bedroom. You can't have 2 dudes a bedroom. That's a half a dude, like, per bed. Like, that's too many dudes. So I want to know how he was able to get himself or herself, could be a woman. Come on, Brian, don't be misogynistic. Women can be scammers too. I want to know how he was able to get a United Oil Industry like LLC that actually makes money. Because I'm assuming that 2022 is the first year. And now 23, 24, 25, I'm sure I'm going to get bigger and bigger tax bills. So that's what they're going to send me all the documentation. And then I think we're going to have them on the show. So, by the way, for the few of you watching, 404-263-0941. I can see the phones right there. If you'd like to talk on the show, jump in. This podcast will also be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Sorry, I've been MIA this week. It's been a long week. Long week. Kids have been home a little bit sick. Just lots of things going on in the world. Let's talk about the new. Well, I gotta play some music here. We gotta switch segments. Waving people as they walk by. Let me see if the camera will follow me. Camera, will you follow me? No. Sometimes my studio camera follows me, and I wanted to show you guys what the studio looks like. Give you a little like behind the scenes crib situation. All right. I've gotten a lot of messages about this. So I used to be on the Burt Show. I did that for a few years. Left that show to go to Los Angeles to do AMP Radio. I've talked about that before. I don't need to rehash some of those things. And Kristen from the Burt Show, or the Burt Show ended in, I want to say the end of or October sometime, kind of suddenly, out of the blue. A lot of weirdness around that. That's for them to figure out, not me. I don't care. She just started doing afternoons on Q99.7 with Ethan Cole, who's a great dude. I really like Ethan Cole a lot. Ethan's a great dude. He worked at Power 96.1 when I was on the Bull. And across the hallway, he got let go when, radio, everyone gets fired. And it's funny because I've been asked about my opinions. One, I can't listen to the show because it's the same exact time as my show is. And I'm selfishly more concerned with my own show. So I really don't care. Two, we don't really compete. I know in theory we do because it's, afternoons, but it's not even close. They don't have the cume. Cume means the number of people listening. It's just, we're not in the same vein. Our cume is massive and not to brag, but it's good. We play a lot of fun music. It's fun. Feel good throwbacks and like all the stuff you loved 5 years ago. I'm cool with it. I don't pick the music. I just like to have fun. So there's really no competition in that regard because, to be honest, like that really doesn't happen anymore unless you're in a sports station, talk station. The Burt Show was a massive monster, but now mornings are wide open, which also is like, oh, mornings, come on, wide open there for the killing. Just nobody's good. But the sports stations are killing it out here. But other than that, urban stations are good. But other than that, it's kind of just ho-hum. Thing with afternoons is it's different than mornings in the sense that people don't expect to interact as much. Now you can change that. I'm working on it. 404-263-0941. That's the studio number. You can talk to me anytime you want. Anything on your mind. So go ahead and give me a call anytime right now if you'd like to. No one is, but there's only 36 people watching. But if you want to call, I dare you. I dare one of you to call that 404-263-0941 and watch me answer that phone. Because that's the radio I like to do is goofing around, having fun, and telling jokes and talking to people. I'm shocked she has a co-host because that's already expensive and over budget. And I'm only saying that from experience because I've been on the launch of, let me think now. Click 98.9 morning show, my first show. That was 2013 in Seattle. Burt Show was already established that you could literally all you had to do in the Burt Show was just be funny and hit home runs and think of funny things to do and be yourself. Easiest. It was not real radio. It was like kind of, oh, this is great, but it wasn't like you weren't up against the standards or the let's say like the criticalness, the critical eye of your programmers. Amp Radio in LA. 99.5 The Wolf in Dallas and 94.9 The Bull in Atlanta. Here's what I'll say. When I was the lead on shows, I always was super nervous about the revenue we were bringing in because it's a math game, right? If our show can't make it, the other salaries work, people are going to start getting fired. And you get about a year and then they start going like, oh, well, we can't justify this. Like when we launched on Amp Radio in LA, we had a producer, assistant producer, social media person, and 3 hosts. That's 6. That's such a massive staff. That's $1 million maybe, or whatever. I don't know what everyone got paid. Probably $500,000. That you got to make that right there just to stay flush, right? With a market that's shrinking. So for me, when I had talks with Star about doing this show, I was like, look, I'm at a point in my life where I really love being around my son. I love the mornings. I love having the first half of my day. I would love to do afternoons. I'd love to do a show that's funny, creative, that isn't the same afternoon show that people have where it's just like, here's this song. That's a great song. Here's this song. So I have a lot of creative flexibility. But I also know I'm the only one responsible for that. So if we don't make if I don't make revenue or ratings, I know what that threshold is for me to get fired. But just me. It's not, you don't feel the stress as a radio host until you look at your co-hosts and you're like, we're not making enough money to keep you guys. I know that's going to happen. So would I love a co-host in the afternoons? Yes. Oh my gosh. I love to talk to everybody. I treat the audience as my co-host because I love talking to people on the phones and goofing around. But if I had someone in here whose life depended on our success, woof, higher level of stress. And in afternoons, you play so much music, which is fine. It's great. I love it. I embrace it now because it's just me. But there's not a lot of real estate for more than one person unless you're going to have a format that allows for a lot of talk and personality, right? So I've seen the comments. People are mad already. This isn't like what you used to do. Yeah, it's not. It's never going to be. Now, I'm sure Kristen and Ethan will do like a podcast like this. And I've told you guys before, I'm trying to build out my podcast universe and do more in that regard. But you always have to kill the main job, which is your afternoon show. And that can be tough. 7 o'clock. I mean, look, the hours of 3 o'clock to 5:30 fly. And then 5:30 to 7, it's slow. It's the slowest. So it's a mind game because sometimes you just have to trust you're doing something funny or interesting that you have no feedback on. And you have less people in the room telling you what you got to do creatively, but you have more people telling you what you're doing wrong formatically. So it's like when I have to talk over a 30-second song ramp, maybe I have one coming up when we go. I might go live with you guys. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that, but we might do it anyway. I can't play the music, but I could do the live thing. Anyways, When you talk up music ramps, you got like 30 seconds. You're like, yo, hey, what's up? Atlanta's Upbeat Variety, Star 94. Like, hope you're having a great day. Blah, blah, blah. Here's a fun fact. It's going to be snowy tomorrow and blue, blue, blue. Here's Alicia Keys. That isn't a lot of space to be personality. And it's funny. I read some comments and people were just mad. They're like, this isn't what we expected. Yeah, of course not. But also, if you listen to me over the years, you've seen me in different formats. You know it's different. If you listen to my show on Star, I have about 8 or 9 1.5 to 2 minute content breaks that I try to hit home runs on. I'll have guests on, talk about stories that are funny. I'll talk to phones, like phone calls. But then a lot of it is we're playing music. It's a music-driven format, afternoons. And it's going to take a long time to change that. So, years. Here's my skepticism on all that stuff. I don't believe they give you years. They say it. Been there a bunch of times. They say, don't worry. Morning shows don't even hit for 2 years. Guess when you get fired? 18 months in. So I would say give it time. Look, if you're a Kristen fan and you're an Ethan fan, great. Listen to them. You can punch over here. We play a lot of music. We play a lot of the same stuff. And just listen for the content stuff if you like it. But also, you're going to have to hang in there for a while. Because learning how to do this type of radio is tough. It's a mind game, too. Like your biggest enemy is yourself. Because sometimes you'll do something, you're like, that was awesome. And then you're like, no one cared. But that's how I felt like when I started doing stand-up comedy. That's why this format for me is, I don't mind talking to the camera for damn near 25 minutes. Now, it doesn't matter to me because I believe that you guys like me. Well, that's one thing. You might not. You might hate me. Hate watch too. I don't care. But you have to believe what you're doing on the other end. You know that you have your own out. You know that you're confident in those things. And when you're in an ensemble room, just hitting home runs and stuff, environment's incredible. But to build that is hard. So we'll see. And I would say this, like if you are a Kristen Klingshirn fan, give it time. I think I saw some comments that Bert made too. And he'd say, I was saying the same thing I am. It's going to be a different format. You may not ever like it. You may not like the music. It may not be you. You may just be like, yeah, I like them on social media. I just don't like the radio show. That's fine. I'd love it if you listen to the radio show for me, because then maybe I can, buy a mansion on the water or something someday. Kidding. But it takes time for everybody. It takes time for me, but I've gone through this before, so I understand that. I think it's going to be interesting to watch, because if you haven't been through the brand new build of a radio show, you're your worst enemy. People criticizing you, the money that is or isn't coming in, the endorsers that cancel, checking your ratings, panicking about, oh my gosh, is this person that I talk to every day going to get fired because we're not doing well enough? Whole different stress. So anyways, that's my opinions on that. Is if you like that show, if you like Kristen, give it time. If you like me, give it time. I'm still trying out here. Today on my show, we're talking about identity theft. Ladies, we're talking about what you got in your purse, because you got some weird stuff in your purse that you don't even know. All right, let's go through the comments here. Will I ever get back into mornings? Yes, Hannah, definitely. That will happen someday. I love this now. I'm happy. I get home right around bath time. Dinner's like Ronan eats. He jumps in the bath. We goof around. He plays, and he goes to bed. There in the morning for breakfast. But I will say this: 3 to 7 and 2 to 7 are different shifts. If you're talking about, that's a long 2 to 7, that 2 o'clock hour. Woo! No, thank you. But definitely someday, mornings again someday. But for right now, I want to build an awesome afternoon show. And I love everybody who calls in, hangs out with me. I think it's special. I think it's a space that no one's working in. And I said that, and I think Cumulus might have been listening, because I did say that when I got hired here. I was like, you know what? Afternoons are great. No one does anything fun here. And now there's people doing fun stuff there. So I blame myself, guys. I'm a trendsetter. I'm kidding. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm going to get more regular with the pre-show podcast, more guests, more things. This week has just been nuts. Started off crazy with weather. Oh, now the camera's moving. Here we go. Look at this. Hey, get back here. Camera. How do I get this camera to follow me? I want to show you guys the lobby. Camera. All right, whatever. I'm going to get more consistent with podcasting, more guests. We're start having people in studio. We're going to kind of turn this into like kind of a free-for-all as the show gets later in the day. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, just appreciation. I couldn't still be doing what I do unless it wasn't for you guys that are watching now, watching later, commenting. I never forget that. I never feel, I never feel like this is just me. It's never been just me. It's always been the people that support me. Because look, I don't have enough confidence just to be like, yeah, I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to do me. No, I mean, I need you guys. So I love you guys. One more question. If you followed shows with Bert, blah, blah, blah. Bert, nope, you got this. Thank you. That was just nice. Oh, Link's identity was stolen. $100. Well, Link, mine was stolen. But I'm hoping that maybe I can make a little money out of it. Like I'm going to take over this oil business. All right, you guys. Love you. Thank you for watching. Comment. I'll come through, answer questions if you got them. And also just have a great weekend. It may snow in Georgia on Saturday. We may get that snow for those sleds. I love you guys. Thank you.